our 4th seed, Brendyn Dunagan. And our 5th seed, Varun Mohanraj. Competitors in the lower semifinals is best 3 out of 5, first to 2 sets. You're each allocated 1 2-minute timeout with a 30-second break in between each set. Brendyn is the higher seed, heads or tails?
Tails.
It is heads. Varun, first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, go ahead and sit at the bench. Brendyn to the solving station.
And here we are. The show goes on. Looks like they tried to use that that adjustment for the lighting, but not sticking. Maybe the competitors didn't quite like it. It did look like it was a little bright, kind of like harsh in the peripheral. Maybe that's something that would have actually adversely affected the competitors. There's a lot of initial conditions going on here. Varun winning the toss yet again, sticking with what worked for him against Greiser. Maybe a little superstitious at that, but he's going up against Bendy. This one is going to be a tough match for him. And Bendy to get us started here. Losers semifinal. Bendy with immaculate turning, 5.21 right out of the gate. And Varun in back-to-back sets now. He's been going the distance. He's going to have to show up.
I'm not sure what happened there at the end of the solve for Brendyn. Looked like he kind of did 4 soons or something like that. Obviously getting a PLL skip, I think. So I'd like to see the replay on that to see the mistake he made, because he was shaking his head despite having turned pretty flawlessly throughout the solve.
Yeah, certainly very interesting. You have to wonder if it could have been faster as well. All right, here's Varun now, solving second as he preferred to, coming off of that huge win against Luke Greiser, showing off some ZB knowledge himself. 7.4, not going to do it though, and Bendy's going to go up 1-0.
Yeah, 5.2, always going to be pretty hard to beat. And the ZBLL execution for Varun there, pretty nice, but not good enough.
It's working, guys! It's working!
Okay, Bendy up 1-0 here. We'll get the graphics back on screen once we can, but a really weird U2, not entirely sure, like kind of like U2 and then an Ido. Something weird happened there, 9.1, and yeah, he just basically gave one back to Varun, it looks like. 9.1 to beat.
Yeah, something weird happened in that solve, that's for sure. Choosing to solve on, I think it was red or orange, and color neutral fashion that Brendyn is confident with. Yeah, just some mistakes in F2L leading to a 9 despite having a kind of forced OLL skip. So really leaving the opportunity for Varun to catch up here.
8 seconds.
8 seconds of inspection gone. The competitors do get up to 15. Varun getting started pretty soon after that. Kind of weird turning coming out from him, though. Is he going to be able to beat the 9? Yes, he is. 8.39. That's going to do it, and it's going to tie it up 1-1. So some weird solving we saw from both of them.
Yeah, looking a little bit dicey for Varun there. Only had to beat a 9, and going into the PLL, just one big lockup would have cost him the solve there. But obviously getting that 8 good enough and puts the set at 1-1.
Bendy's going to definitely want to come back a little bit after a disappointing second solve. A little lucky there on the finish, but 6.41, a decent competitive solve.
Yep, solid solve, 6.4, pretty decent. Gonna put him in a solid position. Varun's gonna have to solve pretty well to beat that. The set is currently 1-1. We're currently trying to fix the scoreboard, but it's the first set of this losers semi-final, and they have 1 solve each.
And yeah, Varun needs to beat 6.4, certainly within his wheelhouse, but crazier things have happened, let me tell you, so far today. There's a really big block of like yellow-white, it looks like, so perhaps a fake block and a huge execution error just right out the gate. Looks like Varun is trying to come back. A weird pause in the middle of an out and an 4-pad weird stop. 8.84. That solve kind of had everything in it, unfortunately, as Brendyn goes up 2-1.
Not quite the solve there for Varun from the get-go. He had a bit of a fumble going into the start of F12, and from there it was kind of over, doing an absurd amount of moves in his OLL and then failing to stop the timer at the end.
Remember, losers semifinals. Whoever loses this one is out of the tournament. They're going to get knocked out at 4th place, 6.46 for Bendy. And, you know, a 4th place finish for either competitor, that wouldn't be too bad, especially for Varun. You know, he's seeded 5th and, you know, upset Greiser, so that wouldn't be too bad. But both of the competitors definitely want a chance at winners, at losers finals, rather, excuse me. And potentially make a big run all the way to Grands to see if they can get to either Timon or Dylan. 6.46 is the time needed to beat. Yeah, set point indeed. Sorry, Chris, I cut you off a little bit. My bad.
12 seconds.
Let's see what Varun can do. Looking like he's turning really quickly, but a huge execution error, and he's not able to bring the magic like he did in the previous match. 3-1, Brendyn Dunagan is going to win his first set to go up 1-0.
Yeah, it's just some unfortunate solving from Varun there. Could not quite lock in getting that last solve for F12 was looking good, and then once he got to last layer, bit of an awkward OLL, and he locked up in the execution, and then those mistakes continued into PLL. But you got one solve in that first set, but still just kind of getting rolled by Brendyn. He's pretty consistent solving so far.
Yeah.
And now the roles are reversed a little bit. Bendy was the one setting the pace. Looks like that ended up pretty well for him as Varun. In the last set, yeah, subpar solving just front to back, unfortunately. 7.463, 8.39, 8.84, 8.30. None of those times are particularly good for what Varun wants to get. He's going to want a low 7s or even really low 6s are what you're going to need if you want to be competitive against Brendyn Dunagan. Second set is going to get started very soon. Varun has his cube delivered now.
I'm ready.
Grabbing the cube extremely quickly, immediately from the jump. Looks like there is that one white piece, that white-blue, that is insertable in 2 moves.
12 seconds.
He has white on top, which is certainly very interesting. Looks like it took a little bit of an extra pause as he was making cross. Here's PLL now. 7.24, shaking his head. He knows it could have been a bit better.
The solution there was decent enough, but just too many pauses and just a little bit of a choppy turning throughout led to a subpar time for Varun there. Brendyn in a comfortable position to take this first solve of the set, but you never know what can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could just be crazy. Looks like Bendy has yellow. Yeah, he's gonna end up going for yellow. Looks like he actually preserved a pair there. Would certainly be interesting to see. And here's a ZV 7.48, and that doesn't do it. A very tight margin of less than 0.2 seconds, and Varun goes up 1-0 in this set.
Yeah, a big pause near the start of F12 there for Brendyn. Obviously, he didn't manage to inspect far enough into the solve, and then choosing to take the time to recognize the ZBLL in the last layer just cost him that solve. He's, yeah, a little bit annoyed he couldn't snap up that the win and to start the set with a 7.2 set by Varun, but it happens.
And yeah, now Bendy just kind of has to sit in his, almost looks like a timeout corner from the table camp's perspective. Varun now to set the pace for solve number 2, set number 2. He's down 1-0. He needs a little bit of magic if he wants to continue his amazing run. 6.45, not necessarily magical, but also not too shabby. That should be competitive.
Definitely competitive. 6.45 is around what Brendyn's been getting on average throughout this competition so far. So as long as he can solve as he has been, he should be able to beat that. But when you've got the pressure of the time to beat, who knows what can happen.
Orange Cross is the choice here, And looking a bit locky. Z-Perm, not a great one, and fumbling it, unfortunately. This is going to be a solve for Varun. He's giving a little sarcastic fist bump a little bit. Trying to, move a little bit of the pressure off as Varun is now up 2-0 in this set. And, we're on to set point already.
Yeah, Brendyn's just not been solving well enough. Having to solve second, the pressure of knowing the time he has to beat is not helping him, and yeah, just really not getting great times, giving Varun the opportunity to snap up their second set and level it out at 1 set each.
Varun is on quite a bit of a loser's run at the moment. If he wins this one, he started top 8 in losers. And he'll have a chance to finish in 3rd place if he can get himself into the losers final. A lot of solving between now and then, though. He needs to take care of business against Brendyn Dunagan first. 6.84. I mean, normally against Bendy, I would have said that's really, really not safe. But against what he's putting up here, especially in the second set, it's looking a little tighter than you would expect.
Yeah, on a set point, on a big stage like this, all of a sudden getting a 6.4 is not as easy as it seems for a solver like Brendyn Dunagan.
8 seconds.
Very, very, very talented across a huge number of events, 3x3 included. Just needs to lock in and kind of execute a little bit. Looks like he had a W, and he's got it with less than 0.1 difference. Bendy takes one back for 2-1 advantage for Varun.
WOLL giving him a W in that set point. Taking him to 2-1. Still got 2 more souls to go to recover and win the set. But Varun in the advantage now in 2-1 in this set. But that was a pretty good solve from Brendyn. Maybe he's still got it in him to recover in this set.
And remember, one of the most important things, everyone listening in chat, listening later on the VOD,
12 seconds.
they don't need to solve perfectly, they just need to solve good enough. Of course, it's always tough to know when you're going first. Varun, as he's doing here, here's PLL now, 6.78. A very, very solid solve, certainly possible. That's actually the solve that Bendy got in the last one. So we might, it's certainly very tight here.
Very tight indeed. 678. Beatable, but not easy. And with the pressure of the stage, anything can happen.
8 seconds.
Set point now for Bendy and Varun. If he cannot convert, Varun is going to tie this up, and that's the way it's trending right now. 7.11. Just really, really locky, turning unfortunately, and it's 1-1 tied up. And we're going into the death match, the 3rd set. Varun going the distance once again.
Yeah, big upset. Varun is doing so much better than he was last weekend in Berkeley. Really showing that he is one to contend for these top spots in these competitive tournaments. Brendyn really faltering under the pressure there. Like a 6.7 should be so beatable for him. But the lockups were just too much for him there. Getting a pretty easy ZBLL case, but at that point it was too late, and even with an okay execution, still jumping into the 7 seconds. And it's going to be evened out at 1 set each.
I mean, Chris, I don't know if you, in your illustrious career, if you've ever experienced stuff that Varun is experiencing right now. If you were in his corner, what would you say to him to like encourage him or like coach him at all?
I mean, right now, Varun is the underdog. He is in a position he was not supposed to be in, so he's really got nothing to lose, and that means there's less pressure on him to solve well. So I just think accepting that and just going for the best you can do is what he needs to do.
Well, it looks like Bendy is going to give him a little bit of a lifeline here. Some sloppy turning in F2L, unfortunately. Not quite a lifeline, mind you. 6.72. It's tight. I mean, all the solves are hovering around that high 6, low 7 mark. So anything can happen here as Varun gets seated for his first solve in set number 3, the deciding set.
I'm honestly surprised that was a 6.7. That solve looked terrible. There's so many lockups, but the solution was pretty short and led to a respectable time.
Varun is certainly hoping to find a solution similar to that, if possible. Let's see what he can do.
8 seconds.
Not taking too much time, and it's, actually nope. He looks like he did end up taking the good amount of time in inspection. Great first 2 to 3 pairs. Another amazing OLL and 7.23. Not able to capitalize. Advantage Bendy 1-0.
Yeah, that lockup in the PLL cost him the solve there, and he knows it. As we've talked about many times in this tournament so far, that OLL is great as it gives you such a good insight into the PLL and can give you a nice, fast transition, but wasn't fast enough for Varun.
Wow, Bendy getting ready extremely quickly, setting the pace here for solve number 2.
Okay.
5.65. He's got his hands on his face. Realizing he could have been maybe a bit faster.
I'm just struggling to realize what the mistake he made there was. And maybe we'll see it in the replay here.
Ready?
If anything, it just looks like pausing to me. Not much you can say about that. That looked pretty solid from front to back.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. He had a bit of back and forwards in the F2L, but still a 5.6. He should not be ashamed of that by any means.
Varun now needs to beat 5.65 to avoid going down 2-0 in a very, very pivotal set. Loser goes home. Varun fighting to stay in it, and he's not going to be able to convert. If he wants a chance, he's going to need to reverse sweep one of the best solvers in SoCal, the hometown cuber, you could say. Brendyn Dunagan up 2-0.
Ready? Ready.
Set point for Brendyn. He's got a lot of opportunities to make mistakes and still stay in it now, so there's a lot less pressure on him. So maybe he can set an incredible solve here to cleanly take home this last set.
Great observation from Chris Mills. Let's see if he can just put the nail in the coffin. Got to PLO around 4, 6.33. A very solid solve. Is this going to be Varun's last solve in an amazing run he's had here at PSL San Diego?
Ready?
6.33, the time to beat to stay in the tournament. He's done it before, but with the pressure of elimination on him right now, can he do it again? Brendyn watching from the sidelines, knowing that even if he loses his solve, he's still got 2 more opportunities. But for Varun, it's life or death.
Only one cross color available to Varun. That is white cross. If he can't find anything good, he's kind of out of luck. What can he do here? This is for his tournament life. Can dot OLL, and this is not going to do it. An amazing run from Varun Mohanraj has ended with a sweep from Brendyn Dunagan, winning it 2-1. Varun out at a very,
the winner
very
for this
good
match
place.
is Brendyn Dunagan! Varun has been eliminated, and Brendyn moves on to lower finals.